Hello, American Patriots. Ducote here. I want to take a moment to discuss my outrage and absolute disgusting feeling that I have with the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. For those of you that are not from Louisiana, parish is the same thing as a county. Instead of counties, we call them parishes here. So East Baton Rouge Parish School Board is who I'm talking about. And particularly the high school that I went to. I went to Robert E. Lee High School. A few years ago, the ultimate wisdom that be at the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board decided that they wanted to get away from Robert E. Lee because he's a racist, being a Confederate general and all. So after some time, taking input from people in the community, most of which said, do not touch the name, leave it alone, they decided to do it anyhow. And they dropped the Robert E. part and left it as Lee High. Well, in today's society, that didn't go over too well. And they decided that Lee was just too close and people could figure it out. So we're going to change the name of it. And they took input from the community, and once again, the community said, hell, go back to Robert E. Lee High. But no, they dropped Lee and they changed it to Liberty High. So let's bring us to current day. I'm going to read you directly from the Baton Rouge Advocate. And this is today. Barely 2 years after taking over his position, Baton Rouge Public High School, Liberty High principal Rob Lowe, who, by the way, is a white guy, is being replaced, and a search will begin soon for his successor. Howe was placed on leave back on October 15th after a text message in which Howe suggested potential repercussions for football players who failed to stand for the national anthem. That's right, we're going there again. The national anthem has been a flashpoint nationwide since football player Colin Kaepernick kneeled during a 2016 playing of the national anthem to protest police brutality and racial injustice. And I've done many videos on this subject and Colin Kaepernick. Since the school system has been investigating the incident, but also other issues connected with Howe's tenure, according to Liberty High parent who answered questions for school officials last week. Students found out about the change in principal in a message Tuesday afternoon from Adam Smith. Smith, who took over earlier this month, is interim president of the East Baton Rouge Parish School System, did not explain in his message why he made the leadership change. Let me note that Adam Smith is a black man. He said that Assistant Principal Shanana Ross will serve as the acting principal until a new principal is selected. The district will continue to support students, families, and faculty at Liberty to ensure the school continues to thrive, Smith wrote. Taylor Gass, the spokeswoman for the school system, said the school system is in the process of communicating this information with students, parents, and faculty. Gass would not say why Howell is being replaced, but said that he remains an employee of the school system. Howell did not return a message on Tuesday from the Advocate for comment. The Liberty High leadership change comes just as the high school moves past another racial controversy this summer around changing the school's name to end its association with the Confederate general, which I already told you. Howell is leaving Liberty just after starting his third year as principal of Liberty High, formerly Lehigh. Soon after taking over in 2018, Howell relaunched the football team in the football program, which the school had not had in over a decade. Corey Dellenhausen, a parent of Liberty High student, said he had long phone conversation last week with Smith about the football incident, as well as other concerns he had about Howell. And of course, we don't know what the other concerns are. This isn't the first time we've seen or heard Howell say it's this way or the highway. He said he's keeping a list of the teachers have left Howell since he took over as principal, and there are more than 50 names on it. And that no one volunteers at the school anymore, he said. Smith, who he's known for years, was professional in his conversation with him. Adam was very open, very concerned. He wasn't dismissive. He asked questions that I would have expected him to ask, but he didn't say one way or another what his decision would be. The latest controversy arose after an image of Howell's text message dated October 1st was posted on social media later in the month. The text, which includes no names, is a short rant from Howell about football players who failed to stand during the recent playing of the national anthem. He wrote, "That was embarrassing. Playing football is a privilege, not a right. And they are students, they are kids, and there is a handbook that describes how they're supposed to act and not act." I guess the school board has forgot about that. The text goes to suggest the recipient of the email might want to make it mandatory to stand during the national anthem, or this team will never get any more support from the administration. So one would assume that he's writing this to the coach, but the name was removed. If they don't want to stand, they can turn in their equipment and we will refund their parents' money. Plain and simple. When it placed Howell leave, the school system said it respects students' rights to freedom of speech and expression and promotes responsible citizenship. That, my friends, is utter bullshit. The district pointed to a policy in the student handbook that allows for silent meditation during the Pledge of Allegiance. But it also touches on the national anthem and that students shall be encouraged to exhibit respectful behavior for the national anthem. How is taking a knee during the national anthem anything other than disrespectful? With the football incident, Howell missed an opportunity to start a wider conversation to get at the real concerns of the athletes who protested. This is a time for us to have a dialogue, both as parents and as athletes, he said. Liberty High was renamed from Lehigh in July in a wake of protests across the country that targeted symbols of the Confederacy. The school opened in 1959 as Robert E. Lee High School, named after the Confederate general. So, it's pretty simple. The superintendent of the school took a stand, a brave stand, a patriot stand. A stand as a principal should, to tell students, you're not in charge of what goes on at the school. You're a kid. You're supposed to come here and be respectful of adults and our programs and, according to the handbook, the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. But Adam Smith, for whatever reason, failed to understand or grasp the concept behind this. It all goes back to Colin Kaepernick, claiming that police officers all across America are racist, bigots, and they're out to shoot, kill, and injure unarmed black youth, which is all total, absolute, 100% not true. It all goes back to the very first person that the black community that supports Colin Kaepernick put up as their other hero. And that was Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Remember him? Hands up, don't shoot. That never happened. Michael Brown was a thug who was high on drugs, who had just stiff-armed a store and robbed it, and then attacked the police officer and tried to get his gun. And the police officer, in attempting to save his own life, had to shoot and kill Michael Brown. And the list goes on of other people the black community, for whatever reason, has chose to put up as a martyr. When there are many, many black people that should hold that title. For instance, Martin Luther King Jr. And sadly, if you were to go to the former Lee High School, now Liberty High School, and ask any of the black kids to tell you about Martin Luther King Jr., I'd be willing to bet you, Adam Smith, that most of them can't. Most of them know absolutely nothing at all about him, because he didn't burn shit down. He didn't loot. He didn't set police cars on fire. He didn't throw Molotov cocktails at police stations and burn them to the ground. He didn't attack and beat and hurt and kill innocent people. No, Martin Luther King Jr. was about peaceful protesting, something that today's youth don't have a clue about. So here's what I suggest. Reach out to Adam Smith and let him know how wrong he is. I'll put in the comments of this video, or in the introduction section of this video, his phone number. I'll give it to you right now real quick. It's area code 225-922-5400. Or you can email communications@ebrsschools.org. That's ebrschools.org. And let Mr. Smith know that you do not approve of his actions and his failure to understand what the real problem is with racism in America, and who the real players are that are causing the problems and pouring fuel on the fire, as he just did. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, our president, and our country. Reach out to Mr. Adam Smith and let him know what you think of him. I have. God bless, and have a wonderful day, everyone.